It's upside down. Radhe Radhe, Dandava Pranam. Welcome to Shri Shri Radha Vinu Bihari Mandir, Gopinath Bhavan, Shri Vrindavan Dham.
Jai.
Jai.
I don't see it.
Did you push the start
I
button?
see it.
Take it. Shri Gurudev ki jai, Shri Prabhupada ki jai, Shri Rupan Guru Varga ki jai. It might be the one down there. Shri Nityananda Prabhu ki jai, Shachinandan Gaura Hari ki jai, Radha Vino Bihari Ju ki jai, Radha Ramana Ju ki jai, Giriraj Maharaj ki jai, Harinam Sankirtan ki jai, Hare Krishna Mahamantra ki jai, Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki jai, Nitai Gaura Premanande, Hari Hari Bo. So we will start with Mangalacharan. Page 1 of this book, Shri Gauriya Giti Guccha, Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yutapada Kamalam, Vande. Vande. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yutapada Kamalam, Shri Gurum Vaisnavamscha, Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahaganam, Raghunatham Vitam Tam Sajivam, Sarvetam Savadhutam, Parijana Sahitam, Krishna Chaitanya Devam, Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahavano, Rika Shri Vishakam Vikamshra, Om Ajnanitimirandhasya, Jnanam Janashalakaya, Chakshurunmilitam Yena, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namaha Vishnupadaya, Radhikaya Priyatmane, Shri Srimad Bhaktivedanta, Narayaniti Namine, Shri Krishna Leela Katane Sudaksham, Adarya Madhurya Gunashtra Yuktam, Param Varinyam Purusham Mahantam, Narayanam Tvam Shirasham Namami, Trigandinam Bhakta Shiromanincha, Shri Krishna Padajina Vaikravidhi, Chaitanya Leelam Amrita Sarasaram, Narayanam Tvam Satatam Prabhadhe, Namo Vishnupadaya, Krishna Presthaya Bhutale, Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine, Namaste Saraswati Deve, Gauravani Pracharine, Nirvishesha Shunyavadi, Paschatya Deshatari. Gaurapreshthaya Bhutale, Shri Srimad Bhakti Pragyana Keshava Niti Namine, Avimadya Charitraya Swashritanam Chapaline, Jiva Dukhe Sagataya, Shri Nama Premadayine, Namaha Vishnupadaya, Krishna Presthaya Bhutale, Srimate Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Namine, Shri Varshabhaya Videvi, Daitaya Kripadhaye, Krishna Sambandha Vidyanu, Daine Brahmane Namaha. विग्रहाय नमोस्तुते नमस्ते गौरवाणी श्रीमूर्तये दिनकारिणे रूपानुगं निर्विभावो सिद्धान्तध्वन्तहारिणे नमो गौरकिशोराय साक्षात् वैराग्यमूर्तये विप्रलम्भरसम्बोधे पदम्बुजायते नमः नमो भक्तिविनोदाय सच्चिदानन्दनामिने गौरशक्तिस्वरूपाय कृपानुकम्परायते गौराविर्भावभूमिस्त्वं निर्दिष्टा सजनप्रिया वैष्णव सर्वभौमश्री जगन्नाथायते नमः वंशाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः नमो महावरण्याय कृष्णप्रेमप्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्य नन्दे गौरद्विषे नमः हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्त राधाकान्त नमोऽस्तुते तप्तकञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये जयतां सुरतो पङ्गो मम मन्दं मदेगति मत्समस्वत्पदम्बोजो राधामदनमोहनो दिव्यवृन्दारण्यकल्पद्रुमद श्रीमद्रत्नागार सिंहासनस्थो श्री श्रीराधा श्रीवृन्ददेव प्रेष्ठानिभिः सेव्यमानो स्मरामि श्रीमन्द्रसरसारम्भी वंशिवद्दत्तपस्थितः कर्षन्मेनु स्मरय गोपीनाथश्रियस्तु नः वृन्दाय तुलसीदेव्यै प्रियाय केशवस्य च कृष्णभक्तिप्रदे देवी सत्यवत्यै नमो नमः पञ्चतत्त्वात्मकं कृष्णं भक्तरूपस्वरूपकं भक्तावतारं भक्ताख्यं नमामि भक्तशक्तिकं जय श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानन्द श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौरभक्तवृन्द चेतोदर्पणमार्जनं भवमहानामग्निर्वापनं श्रेयकैरवचन्द्रिकाविकरणं विद्यावधूजीवनम् आनन्दं बुद्धिवर्धनं प्रतिपदं पूर्णामृतास्वादनं सर्वात्मसमनं परं विजयते श्रीकृष्णसङ्कीर्तनम् हरेर्नाम हरेर्नाम हरेर्नामेव केवलं हरो नस्येव 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 गतिरन्यथा हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। श्री गुरु चरण कमल भजमन। page 359 in this book, Guru Charana Kamala Bhajaman, 359. Gurcana. Is it going? It's doing it off of the SIM card. But is he doing on Radharaman?
He's not doing it.
Oh. Should we switch?
Yeah.
Okay, we're gonna try to switch. 1 second. Hare Krishna. Okay. Wow, we just lost 3 people. Radhe Radhe, is that better? Hare Krishna. Having a little weather in Vrindavan today. Some sprinkling, some raining, maybe a little wind. So we'll do our best with what we have. Shri Guru the other day, Achita Prabhu requested that we can sing, I believe it was Thakur Vaisnava. What was it? Was it Thakur Vaisnava Pada or Gana? I think it was Gana.
So it's page 43, and it starts with Thakur, T-H-A-K-U-R-A, Vaishnava, Gana, G-A-N-A.
Thakur Vaishnava Gana Kori Nivedana.
Oh, they're saying it's worse than before.
Okay, we'll make it better again.
Sorry. Okay, we hope this is better.
We're back on the sim again. Thakur Vaishnava Gana Kori Nivedana. Parama Karuna Pahudijana Nitai Gaura Chanda. Page 84. Parama P-A-R-A-M-A Karuna K-A-R-U-N-A by Srila Chandas Thakur.
Page number?
Page 84. For what? Hari Hari Vipale Janama Govinda. Hari Hari Vipale Janama Govinda, page 100. Starting with Hari Hari, H-A-R-I, H-A-R-I. Is the connection a little bit better? I can't see an answer. I'm just asking.
I'm looking on Sudevi's phone.
I don't have any.
No one's answering.
It must not be very good then. No one's answering.
Can you just check? Yeah. Oh. So, Gopalji said 100%.
100% better. Krishna Deva Bhavantam Vande. I don't know what page that is.
343, if I can remember correctly.
343.
Jane Allison said yes, much better. Okay. Jayanti says better. Vishaka, okay. Thank you. You're the one from the album. Never mind.
Krishna Deva Bhavantam Vande. Krishna Deva Bhavantam. Krishna Deva Bhavantam Vande. Krishna Deva Bhavantam Vande. We're back?
We're back.
Okay.
Sorry, it's raining a little bit here in Vrindavan and it interrupts the broadcast.
I really want to do Vande Shri Shabhana Sipapada, but we can't find it in any songbook anywhere.
So Radhe Jai Jai Madhava page 341 starts with Radhe Jai Jai Madhava.
What page?
341.
341. Radhe Jai Jai Madhava Dete. Radhe Jai Jai Madhava Dete. Radhe Jai Jai Radhe Jai Jai Madhava
So there's a request from Devaki. She says, Radhe Radhe have just returned from shopping and had wanted to ask you to dedicate the kirtan for Chitra, who left her body after a long fight with cancer, leaving her 2 children alone in this world, estranged from their father and no other relatives. So maybe the last kirtan can be for her. So maybe we can end the speaking maybe 5 minutes earlier to do a longer kirtan. Okay. Thank you so much, Devaki. We did see that, so that would be very nice.
Gurave Gaurachandraya Radhikaya Tadale Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tadbhaktaya Namo Namaha Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Namo Om Vishnupadaya Radhikaya Priyatmane Shri Srimad Bhaktivedanta Narayan Nityanamine Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Nityanamine Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya evacha patitanang pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Mukam karoti vachalam pangum langayate girim Yatkripatamaham Vande Shri Gurun Dinatarinam. First of all, I offer my Dandava Pranam thousands of times in the dust of the lotus feet of our beloved Gurudev, Nitya Lila Parashna Om Vishnupad, astottara Shri Srimad Srila Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaja. In the same thousands of Dandava Pranam unto the dust of the lotus feet of Nitya Lila Parashna Om Vishnupad, astottara Shri Srimad Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, and to our entire Rupanu Gaudiya Guru Varga, and to all Vaishnavas, past, present, and future, including those who are with us today, my Dandava Pranam. So before continuing with going beyond Vaikuntha, there were a few interesting questions which came to me today, and it's about the subject we've been discussing almost every day, about Harinam Prabhu, and not praying to Krishna for fulfillment of our material desires, not praying to Krishna to remove our suffering, not praying to Krishna, even in that Jagannath Ashtakam that we chanted yesterday, the last verse, is not actually the mood of the Gaudiya Vaishnavas. There it says, Haratvam Sangsaram Druta Tarmasaram Surapate Haratvam Papanam Vitatim Aparam Yadavapate. Please remove me from this sangsar. Please remove me from these sinful, the reactions of my sinful activities. Haratvam Papanam. But Vaishnavas, especially Gaudiya Vaishnavas, don't pray like this. They don't want anything from the Lord. They just want to serve Him. They just want to please Him. And they're not asking Him for removal from suffering. So, I was speaking with this one devotee, and it was quite interesting because he said that he found in his life that whenever he would pray to Krishna for material things, he never got them. Maybe some of you may have had that experience where you start having this desire and you're praying to Krishna, but it's not fulfilled. And in Shastra it says, Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, as you approach me, I reciprocate accordingly. So I'm approaching Him for fulfillment of my material desires. Why isn't He reciprocating? And it also says in Shastra, Kama sarva kama va moksha karam udaradi, whether you approach the Lord with a heart full of lust or with no lust at all, means desires, or even if you want moksha, liberation or anything, still you should always worship the Lord. And we've seen that anyone can attain perfection by absorption in the Lord. Even persons like Kamsa and Putana, because of their absorption in the Lord, even though they came with intent to kill Him, or they had fear of Him, still they attained perfection because of absorption in the Lord. So then, how is it possible that if I'm praying with a heart full of material desires to Krishna and chanting Harinam, it's not fulfilled? And then the moment I'm not praying for those things, and I'm trying not to pray for those things, then they start manifesting. So there's a few different considerations in this connection. When one prays to Krishna, we do not know how far we have come. If one is approaching Krishna through the medium of Gyan, with desire to attain impersonal liberation, freedom from suffering is really what it is. To attain a state of oneness so that one does not have to feel, in essence. Because of experiencing dualities within this material world, which are the cause of suffering. To the extent one suffers, one experiences happiness. And to the extent one experiences happiness, to that extent they will suffer. So to become free from this, taking shelter of some process of bhakti, one can become perfect in their Gyan. This Gyan aimed at impersonal liberation. Srila Gurudev explained that to attain perfection in any of these things, Gyan, Karma, Yoga Siddhi, or any other process other than bhakti, still some bhakti is required to power that, to give it potency, otherwise it cannot be attained. Oh, Karma also, Karma Kanda. So if one is following the path of Karma Kanda, they're also utilizing bhakti, but to attain material results. So some Jnana Mishra, Karma Mishra Bhakti is there. You're doing something for the Lord, but with an expectation and a hope for material things. This is Karma Mishra Bhakti, or Bhakti mixed with desire for fruitive activities. It is not considered pure Bhakti. And those who have come to this path of Rupanuga Vaishnavism, those who have come to the point of accepting Krishna as the Supreme, and no one else. Even in India, it's quite difficult. Even for devotees who have been devotees for a long time. You'll find them going into their room and worshipping the demigods also, and Krishna. That's not exclusive devotion. It's a very, very rare thing to have exclusive devotion to Krishna. And Krishna, everywhere he talks about Ananya Bhakti, Ananya Shintayan Tamam, Bhaktatvananyaya Sakya. Ananya means without any other. Anya Abhilashita Shunyam, without any other desire. Krishna Anushilan, exclusively for Krishna. Sarva Dharmam Parityaja Mam Ekam Sharanam Vraja, surrendering unto me alone. So, Mam Ekam, all of these ideas are present there. This is Ananya Bhakti, without any other, accepting Krishna exclusively. But if someone is doing other things, putting their faith in other places, putting their shraddha, their faith, in the devas, or in any other process other than bhakti, then it cannot be said to be exclusive bhakti. Then they won't be considered ananya bhaktas. When Krishna says this verse in Bhagavad Gita, apichet suduracharo bhajate mam ananya bhak, this is referring to one-pointed devotees who are not putting their faith or worshipping any other than Krishna. This is Ananya Bhak. Then he says, Sadhureva Samantavya. Even if by some mistake, a very rare, almost impossible possibility that they might perform some sinful activity, still they should be considered sadhu. Sadhureva Samantavya. For sure and certain. Because I am their exclusive one-pointed goal and where their faith is exclusively pointed. Very quickly, I will reinstate them, Kshipram Bhavat Dharmatma, to that original position, wherever they were, even if they had some temporary fall. But this is for exclusive devotees who don't put their faith or shraddha in any other. In this case, people used to come to our Gurudev wearing gemstones, necklaces with Nava, the 9 planets with all the gemstones. And sometimes Gurudev would say, what is that? I'll tell you a couple stories. One devotee came with a necklace full of all these jewels and everything. And Gurudev said, what is that? And they said, oh, this is for all the devas and the planets to help me with my mind and different problems. And Gurudev broke it off and the beads went everywhere. And he said, if you're putting your faith here, it means you're not putting your faith in Krishna. You're not putting your faith in the pure devotee of Krishna, Tulsi Devi. So Gurudev didn't like that we would absorb our minds or our energy in putting our shraddha in other things. That we should only put our shraddha in those things which are directly in line with and favorable for the development of Rupanuga Bhakti. Another time, we were in, where was it? Singapore with Srila Gurudev. And myself and another devotee were massaging Srila Gurudev, just about to. And Gurudev looked down at this devotee's finger. This devotee was wearing saffron cloth as brahmachari. He looked at him and he said, "What is that?" Because the brahmachari means, I have now, real brahmachari means, it's like sannyas in Gaudiya Vaishnavism, that I have given up my attachment to the world and I'm fully under the care of brahmachari. I spoke about this the other day, yesterday I think. Brahmachari means fully absorbed in Parabrahma Shri Krishna and accepting that he is my protector, my maintainer, he is my everything. So it's also exclusive. This is the nature of brahmacharya. And not only that, completely devoid of any sensual, especially sexual activity. This is real brahmacharya. Completely absorbed in Krishna to the extent that I'm not engaging in any mundane, gross, simple activities. So Gurudev asked him, "What is that?" And he had this coral ring with gold on his finger. And he said, "Oh, someone gave it to me. They told me that I should wear it to ward off the effects of Shani Dev. You know, the demigod of war, Shani. In India, everyone's afraid of Shani. There's people walking around in the streets with a bowl of mustard oil, and they have a little deity of Shani Dev. And so many beggars go to so many shops, and people don't even notice them. But those ones with the little Shani Dev, no one wants to upset Shani Dev. So they always give donations, they throw money in the bowl. And people do pujas and everything to appease Shani Dev. And even those who have been devotees for many, many years, still you see them in the corner doing these little pujas, doing their offerings, oblations to the devas and everything, just to make sure. It's difficult to become an exclusive devotee of Krishna. So Gurudev asked him what it was. He said, "Oh, it's to ward off the effects of Shani Dev." Gurudev said, "Give that to me." So he gave Gurudev that ring, and Gurudev put it in his pocket. And he said, "Now Shani Dev won't touch you." And then he leaned back, he was in his gamsha, and he kicked in the air. And he said, "I will kick him, and he can go live with whoever gave you that ring." And I was thinking, my God, Gurudev is so powerful, and he is not afraid of anything. Why is he not afraid? Because he knows that in the little toenail of Srimati Radhika, his Swamini, there is more potency than 10,000 Nrsingadevs. Gurudev said this. He has this kind of faith, conviction in Srimati Radhika. She is Purna Shakti. What is there to worry about? Krishna becomes the property of the maidservants of Srimati Radhika. Radhika Dasira Krishna Sarva Vede Bole. All Vedas are saying this. So what is there to worry about? The devas, everything becomes subservient to that pure devotee of the Lord, naturally. But not for using for material purposes. So Gurudev, he gave that example, just like that. He didn't want us placing our faith in everything else. So this is exclusive devotion. So Krishna says, for that person who is exclusively devoted to me, I show special mercy. Either I will remove all of their material attachments and make them penniless so that they become completely dependent upon me, or I will fulfill their desires in such a way that they will learn the lesson. It's like tough love. They will learn the lesson the hard way and never desire that thing again. So when this devotee was questioning me, I thought it was very interesting, because for different levels of devotees, there's different instructions, different ideas. And for some, it's akama sarvakamo va. Whatever you want, you worship the Lord. Our Gurudev told us, don't desire anything else other than pure bhakti. Don't pray to Krishna for relief from your sickness or for relief from any mundane thing. Only pray to Krishna to love Him, to serve Him, for His pleasure, for His happiness, for His benefit. With any material situation, don't use prayers to Krishna for that. So this is something quite interesting, because we see it in Shastra Shastra, Krishna is saying, I will reciprocate according to the way you approach me. And for others, he's saying, whatever desire you have, then you approach Krishna with that desire, and he'll fulfill that desire. But for his devotees, who are his exclusive devotees, and to whom he chooses to show his special mercy, he either will grant that desire in such a way that you will lose all taste for that kind of desire, or he will remove everything that you have and make you completely dependent upon him. So the devotee was asking me this question, but why is it that it seems, because I was praying, and I said, you have been born in a family of devotees. From the beginning of your life, you have the association of pure devotees, like Srila Gurudev, and you were raised in the conceptions of Rupa Goswami, coming from Chaitanya Mahaprabhu through Srila Prabhupada. It is not an ordinary birth. We don't know what we have been praying for in previous lifetimes, for hundreds or thousands of lifetimes. How much intense endeavor has been undergone. How much hard labor we have made to come to that point. And I'm not saying this only for people who were born into it, because I have a very interesting, I'm going to use the word theory, but it makes sense. Srila Prabhupada so many times acknowledged his disciples that my Guru Maharaj has sent you to help me. Prabhupada couldn't use 1-year-old babies to do what he needed to do, newborns, at that time. He needed strong, stout, energetic, enthusiastic, youthful persons. 17, 18, 19, 20. Beautiful, strong, energetic, and full of faith and enthusiasm. And so those persons were there, already present. Many of them already gave up eating meat, and they were searching for some truth, but they didn't know where to look. They already had the inclination. And they were going from place to place, listening and searching. What's the name of that brown book, Sudevi? Be Here Now.
Oh, yeah.
Be Here Now. Searching through so many things. Even taking intoxications, trying to experience. It wasn't just for like, let's get high. They wanted to experience something more than this material realm. Because they knew there was something more. They were searching. Trying through so many mediums to experience something more than what we've been told is the reality in the material world. And then, like Krishna had already prepared the scene, and he sent Srila Prabhupada slowly over the ocean, 35 days, and then Hare Krishna Kirtan, Hare Krishna, Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaura Bhaktivedanta, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Prabhupada told Gurudev something amazing. He said, normally you see that worms are entering into stool. But when I opened my eyes, I saw the most amazing sight. I saw that the worms which normally enter into stool were exiting the stool, becoming devotees, putting their arms in the air and chanting Jai Shri Sachinandan Gaura Hari Ki Jai, Hare Krishna. What an amazing vision. And then he said, my Guru Maharaj has sent you. We should understand that it is not ordinary, that one immediately takes up that kind of seva, dedicating their life 24 hours a day. Gurudev said, we have not seen this kind of nishta, even since the time of Shankaracharya, what Prabhupada extracted from his disciples. It is unprecedented in history. It's not ordinary to have that kind of seva bhav, seva vritti, this tendency for service. So, I'm not only speaking about those who were born into families of devotees, but also those who are in waiting, like sleepers. And Prabhupada needed to snap his fingers. How did he snap it? Jeev Jago, Hare Krishna. Boom, they woke up and immediately began engaging in seva 24 hours a day. This is not ordinary. Srila Bhaktivedanta Bharati Maharaj said, by the time someone comes to have exclusive faith in Krishna, and this is also a speciality of taking birth in the West. Who is it? Sadananda Swami, the German disciple of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada. At one point was complaining a little bit to Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur that If only I would have been born in India, maybe in Bengal, then I would easily be able to take in all of these sanskars, these impressions of bhakti in the line of Mahaprabhu. And Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur rebuked him. No, you're so fortunate that you don't have all of these other impressions as well, where you have your faith diversified in so many different personalities, so many different devas. You have the opportunity to have one pointed bhakti with a clean heart. So this is even more favorable, I see. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada told him at the time. So I think this is something very important to acknowledge, that we have come into this line of Rupanuga Bhakti from Chaitanya Mahaprabhu with exclusivity toward one supreme form of the Lord, that is Krishna, or Krishna Prem, love of Krishna. That is our goal, that is our everything. To serve Krishna, to love Krishna. This is not an ordinary thing. And so for hundreds, if not thousands of lifetimes, Aho Bata Svapachato Gariyan, Srimad Bhagavatam says, you should understand that you have already studied all scriptures. You have already gone to all of the holy places and bathed in those holy rivers. You have done all austerities, all tapasyas, and followed all other paths. By the time you come to the point of having exclusive or one-pointed faith in Krishna as the one transcendent supreme personality of Godhead. So this is something very powerful. And so it may be, or it might be, that any devotee who's endeavoring for material things on the path of bhakti, we see that most Hare Krishnas have not really become materially successful. It's very rare to see that a Hare Krishna has become, even if they struggle for it. And I see this as Krishna's mercy. Krishna is showing that actually you have given so much of yourself to me that I won't let you go. You've already said, I am yours. So I have accepted you. And now if you try to go, no, I won't let you go. You're mine. And I'm yours. So whatever distraction you have, it's just a little thing. It's just a small thing. Our Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada also was very afraid. He used to express he was afraid of this shlok in Bhagavatam, where the Supreme Lord said, if I choose to show any special mercy to my devotee, gradually I remove all of his material attachments, make him a penniless beggar, so that he will become completely surrendered unto me. And Prabhupada saw it in his own life happening. Everything completely being removed, one thing after another. All of his businesses were failing one after another. His family was rejecting him. He lost everything, even though he was brilliant. He was intelligent. He was struggling to make it successful, but still, one thing after another. And he became very afraid of that. And afterward, he was found in Mathura. Our Gurudev said at that time he was trying to sell some medicines. And Gurudev told him, he was staying in some dharmshala, you come with me. And he brought him to Sri Keshavji Gaudiya Math. Gave him a place to stay there. And from that point, he was able to engage in exclusive. Before, he was also engaging in exclusive seva, but he was showing an example for the benefit of all of this world, especially those who are in Grihastha ashram. How gradually, as one is progressing on the path, then gradually everything is taken away. And this is the special mercy of Krishna. We should understand and see it as such. So many different verses are there, and they apply in so many different ways to so many different persons on so many different levels of bhakti. And this is proven in Bhagavad Gita, how Krishna is speaking according to different levels of persons. Those who are practicing jnana bhakti, those who are practicing, jnana yoga, karma yoga, dhyana yoga, meditation yoga, ashtanga yoga. Even talks about focusing your eyes on the tip of your nose and meditating. So many different paths, pranayam, everything. All of these things Krishna speaks about according to different levels of personalities on their own subjective evolutions of consciousness. And then he comes to the topmost secret of all secrets, sarva guhyatamam, the topmost. And what is that? Man mana bhavamat bhakto madhyajimam namaskuru mame vaishyasi satyam te pratijane priyosime. Our Guru Varga have said that this verse is even more than sarvadharmam parityajya, because there in sarvadharmam parityajya there's a little bit of karma mishra bhakti present. That's why Mahaprabhu said, go forward from there to Rai Ramananda. Nope, this is external, go more. Because mam ekam sharanam, yes. But then sarvadharmam parityaja, give up all other dharmas. But Raghunath Das Goswami says, na dharmam, na dharmam. Doing dharma or not doing dharma, this is actually not the main thing for those who are exclusive Rupanuga devotees. And then he says, aham tvam sarva papebhyo moksha. That's where the karma comes in. Oh, if I do this exclusive bhakti, then he will free me from all of my sinful reactions. He will give me liberation. He will free me from all of those. And then I don't have to worry. This has some kind of selfish mood in there. So then we go to manmana bhav. Manmana bhavama bhakto. Absorb your mind completely in thinking of me. Become my devotee. Worship me exclusively. Offer your pranam to me. Madhyaji mam namaskuru. Whoever does this, in truth, mame vaishyasi satyam te, they are the most dear to me. Pratijane priyosime. So this is the mood of devotion, of bhakti. I don't want anything else. Anya abhilashita shunyam. Without any other desire. Not covered by the desire for freedom from suffering, freedom from duality, merging into the effulgence of the Lord, becoming one with the Lord, dhyana, karma, doing anything. Oh, if I do this bhakti, then you will remove my sins, you will give me some blessings, maybe you will give me money, you will allow me to be happy in this world, you let me be peaceful and have beautiful associates around me and a nice happy life. This is karma. Okay, I'll worship you if you serve me. It's reciprocal. Prahlad Maharaj told Narasimhadev Bhagavan, I'm not a businessman, I'm not a merchant, I don't need anything from you. Jnana karma adi anavritam. It's not covered by anything else, any other desire or any other splayed attention. Anukulyena Krishna anushilanam. It is favorable for Krishna, it is exclusively for Krishna, it is for his pleasure, for his happiness, and especially for his benefit. And it is always in the association and under the guidance of Krishna's pure devotees. Tishtam brajetat anuragi jananugami. This is pure bhakti. Anukulyena Krishnanushilanam bhaktir uttama. So for someone who's come to this path, they will find that already they may have been practicing, giving up all of these other things and endeavoring for exclusive bhakti. And then you're like, why is Krishna not allowing me to have all of these things? My father was once a multi-millionaire, and he was giving everything to Krishna. In the last 20 years of his life, he was struggling. Even he was receiving handouts from Salvation Army, free handouts. At some points, he was so poor. How is it possible? Krishna was removing everything. He was living so simple. Not because he wanted to. He did try to work this way and that way, but one problem after another, back problem, this problem, diabetes, heart problems, whatever. And all of it actually was Krishna. Krishna is saying, take exclusive shelter. Take exclusive shelter. Stop trying to depend on everything else. Like Draupadi. First she went to everyone else. And finally, in the end, she surrendered to Krishna. And then immediately Krishna appeared and gave her complete shelter. Protected her. The moment she surrendered to Krishna. Before that, she tried everything else. Krishna didn't let her experience it at that point. No, you're not being protected by anyone. Even your husbands can't help you. These biggest, best warriors, your own grandfather cannot help you. All of the good people in this world, they cannot help you. And the bad people in this world, they just want to take advantage of you. So what do you have left? Hey Krishna, Rakho Sharan Apto Jivanahari. Throwing her arms in the air. First she had the sari in her hand. She let go and it was just in her teeth. And after that she realized, even then, I cannot stop this. Okay, Krishna, whatever happens, but I'm completely surrendering to you. She let go and just threw her arms in the air and prayed to Krishna. that I am yours. I am yours. Whatever you want. Krishna himself manifested as her sari, fully embraced her and gave her protection. But what is that? He was claiming her. You are mine. You're saying that I am yours and I'm claiming you. You are mine. Such beautiful moods of surrender. So now we will come to going beyond Vaikuntha. I hope what I was speaking made sense in terms of this, because sometimes we look at one verse and we're like, hey, that doesn't seem to apply to me. I lose faith when I read this verse, but then we look at this one, oh, that makes sense. So not every verse is applying to everyone at every moment. As you're progressing, certain verses will have less application, and other verses or other sections will have more application. And this is something that one should understand as they're progressing. The same association which may have brought us to the path of bhakti may no longer be as favorable at this time. It might have changed. Its nature may have changed. Right? Someone brings you, oh my God, come with me, let's meet Srila Gurudev. And they're so fired up and they bring you and you're like, wow, I've met Gurudev, and you take shelter of Gurudev and you have your best friend, and then your best friend ends up falling away, becoming in Maya, becoming an unfavorable association. And if you continue maintaining the closeness of that association, it will actually become unfavorable for your progress in bhakti. So not everything constantly applies for all time. We have to utilize some good intelligence to see what is favorable for my progress in bhakti. Anukulyasya sankalpa. Whatever is favorable, I will make a firm, resolute vow to accept that in my life. And pratikulyasya varjanam. Whatever is unfavorable, I will make a resolute vow to keep it away, to avoid that in my life. And this is just the doorway to bhakti. This is the first two symptoms of sharanagati, or surrender. From that, then, we can begin to do the positive, which is to actually serve Krishna under the guidance of Krishna's pure devotees. So now we will enter into going beyond Vaikuntha, which is the commentary, one of the commentaries of our Gurudev Srila Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaja on Sri Sanatan Goswami's Brihad Bhagavatamrita. Our Gurudev's commentary is full of bhav, transcendental moods, and so much ras, full of nectar. His heart is overflowing with excitement as he's speaking on this subject matter. And Sri Sanatan Goswami's Brihad Bhagavatamrita is said to be the source or the foundation for all of the other works of the Goswamis. So it is so elemental and essential for us. Not only elemental, it contains everything, but it is foundational as well. And from Brihad Bhagavatamrita, we will understand so many deep subject matters as we're delving into the books of our Goswamis. So it is quite essential for us. It gives a great foundation. So first we will pray to our Gurudev and Sri Sanatan Goswami in the words of Raghunath Das Goswami. Vairag Juga Bhakti Rasam Prayatnai Apayana Mam Anubhikshamandam Kripambudir Yaparaduk Duki Sanatana Swam Prabhum Ashrayami. Begging in the dust of their lotus feet that may even a particle of their moods which are present within these pages manifest in our hearts. Just checking really quickly to see if there are any questions. Not yet. Ooh, nice, Jiva Pavana Prabhu. We gave our youth and we do it all again in a heartbeat. Jai. And we beg you for a particle of your mercy that we might also have this mood. Believe it or not, we're on page 61, so we are making slow, steady progress. Maybe by the time lockdown is finished, by the time flights start, we will come to page 164. So we have 100 more pages to go. It's just been so exciting with Bhaktivinoda Thakur's day, and before that is Gadadhar Pandit's, there was Ekadashi, then there's Gundicha Mandir Marjanam, then there's Rath Yatra. It's been so overwhelming and beautiful. In fact, Gopakumar also plays a role in this Rath Yatra pastime, because when Krishna saw him dressed as a cowherd boy, Krishna also became overwhelmed, seeing another cowherd boy with a flute and everything, dressed as a Sakha. Krishna became overwhelmed, and it actually created some concern for the others. And this is part of the Leela where they made Nava Vrindavan, the original new Vrindavan, in Varga. But we'll get to that later. Okay. So just a quick recap. Gurudev is saying that Krishna is merciful to us generally. Many pray to the Lord, please take all of this away and give me pure love at your lotus feet. But others, they hold out two hands and they want that, take away the happiness of material enjoyment. And with that, if Bhagavan gives you two ladus, one in each hand, and one is material enjoyment and one is Bhagavad Bhakti, because we have not yet attained taste for Bhagavad Bhakti, it is like bitter sugar candy because we are jaundiced with ignorance. Most of us will go for the material things. So Bhagavan mercifully generally doesn't give us both. He does not give us the material thing. He keeps us in a materially difficult situation so that we can learn how to delve deeply into what is actually for our true benefit, which is to awaken loving devotional service for Krishna. But with all of the material distractions, Janma, Aishwarya, Shuta and Shri, very easily we will be distracted. It means high birth, high wealth, high education and bodily beauty. Very easily we can become distracted from bhakti, and it could be millions of lifetimes before we come back to the path. So Krishna mercifully generally does not allow it. Then Gurudev was telling about how Vamandev was more merciful to Bali Maharaj than he was to the denizens of the heavenly planets, where he gave them their material desires, their palaces, their wealth and everything, and he also was present. So he gave both, but they're still enjoying so much that sometimes they become egotistical and upset when whoever's worshipping them, when that service is stopped. We've heard of the story of Indra. He was enjoying watching the heavenly damsels dancing, and he was intoxicated so much, and at that time his Gurudev came in the room, but he kind of pretended to not see his Gurudev. Like this. He was disrespectful to his Gurudev because he was absorbed in enjoying too much, and his Gurudev cursed him, Bhrigumuni. Yes, Bhrigumuni. That, you're behaving like a pig, so you should become like a pig. And there's a whole story, but I'm not going to go into it right now. That will come up later. So, ego will come very great with this Janma, Aishwarya, Shruta and Shri. But the Supreme Lord Vamandev was so merciful to Bali Maharaj that he removed everything, and then he gave him his full mercy and always resided with Bali Maharaj. So this is actually special mercy, and he awarded Bali Maharaj with bhakti. So we finished last time with talking about, in the scriptures it says that there is a final dissolution when the two 50-year segments of Brahma's life have passed. Along with Brahma, nature will merge into Garbhodakshaya Vishnu. Then he will disappear also, and all will merge into Karanadakshaya Vishnu. Karanadakshaya Vishnu is the one from whom all the universes are manifesting. And within each universe, within the womb of each universe, which is known as Garbha, there is Garbhodakshaya Vishnu. And he is maintaining each universe. And that Garbhodakshaya Vishnu again expands himself as Kshirodakshaya Vishnu or Kshirodakshaya Vishnu, who resides in Svetadvip on Anantashesh in the ocean of milk or Kir. And then he also is non-different from Paramatma, who's present within every atom of all creation. This Kshirodakshaya Vishnu. And that's also not different from Chaitya Guru, the Guru in the heart, Because the jiva cannot directly communicate with the guru in the heart, jive shakshat nahitate, guru chaitya rupe, then he steps outside in the form of diksha and shiksha gurus. So there's so many different aspects of these manifestations, but all of that merges back into the form of Karuna Dakshaya Vishnu, who's the one who manifests the universes in the first place. So I'm just going to finish this paragraph, and I noticed that there's a couple of questions here. So many jivas will merge into the limbs of Vishnu at that time, and those who are liberated will go to Vaikuntha with Brahma. Those who are liberated means they've already attained the state of liberation. When the universe is dissolved, they will go directly to Vaikuntha. The others will again become embodied and return to this chakra. Chakra in this case means this material plane or cycle of Maya. It also means samsara, this chakra. At that time, Mahamina, the fish incarnation, Matsya, Mahamina means the great fish, is to be seen. So I'm just going to look at the questions first, and then we will continue here. I was told that when questions come, I should be interactive. Okay. Oh, Jai Narasingha Prabhu. Kishori Mohan ji. As far as the principle of placing our dependence on Guru and Krishna exclusively, what is the difference between seeking remedies to protect us from the karmic difficulties coming from Saturn, Shanidev, or Mars, Mangalji, etc., via mantras especially, and going to doctors? Interesting. If one is taking shelter of Sri Guru, there it is told, Sarvadeva Mayo Guru. Sri Guru is the sum total of all of the demigods. Sri Guru is the sum total of all demigods. Which means if we take exclusive shelter of Sri Guru, then we don't need to worry about all of these other devas. Shastra has explained very exclusively, very clearly. According to Shastra and according to Vaisnava history, any disciple does not do anything independent from the order of Gurudev. And we have seen at the time of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada that none of his disciples, brahmacharis or sannyasis, would ever go to a doctor when they were sick unless they were specifically instructed to do so by their Gurudev. This is quite a surrendered state. So what is the difference? In one sense, we can say, okay, all of these things are there. We can place our faith in so many things, and we can say that this is Krishna's mercy. So going to someone to help us with all of these effects of the planets, to try to get them to how do you say, block us from those effects, or the effects of black magic, or the effects of tantra, or whatever. All of these things. To ward these things off, we can say this might be considered an independent thing, separate from accepting that Krishna is my protector and my maintainer, and it is. And in one sense we can say that about medicine as well, that I'm going to a doctor, this means that I'm not taking shelter of Guru and Krishna. So we should also see the example that our Guru Varga have given, and this is important. When it came to having faith in the Devas and all of these other things, all of the time, in all Shastra, our Gurudev and our Guru Varga, all of the Vaishnavas and all scriptures would say, one, we should have exclusive shelter in Krishna. And the first form of Krishna to manifest in our life is Guru Krishna. That is the form of Krishna as he comes to us as Guru, the embodiment of the mercy of Krishna. And yet we see that all of them also have taken medicine, gone to doctors, and have also recommended to us for doctors and medicine. So it depends on what level it is. It may be that they might instruct to do something. One devotee told me the other day that Srila Bhaktivedanta Goswami Maharaja said, we're exclusively devoted to Krishna, we're accepting that he's our protector and maintainer, but when it's raining outside, do we not take an umbrella with us? So this is one way of looking at it. Our Gurudev didn't like any of this mantra, tantra, or depending on, worshipping the devas for anything. He didn't like it. He liked the process of exclusive devotion to Krishna and accepting that he is my protector and maintainer. Now, I'll give a small example, personal example. Gurudev had ordered us many years ago, and many, many times, to travel the world, nourish the spiritual lives of my children, he would say, help them on my behalf. And he would instruct us that we should travel and preach. And so, as part of that, we would write to the devotees around the world and say, our Gurudev has instructed us to travel and preach. But he also instructed us not to have any jobs in this world, that we should be completely dependent on the mercy of Guru and Krishna and the Vaishnavas. So we require funding to be able to travel and do our sevas. So we would write to the devotees, would you like us to come? Most people would say, yes, please come. We would love you to come. But also I would include, but we are dependent upon the kindness, the donations of the devotees in order to travel. And so they would write, where do we send the funds? And so I would give them some bank account where they could transfer the funds. Gurudev was very pleased with how we were managing, because we wouldn't ask Gurudev for any penny. We would give him donations, and the devotees would arrange in advance, up to a year in advance, to provide. But what was inspiring them to provide? It was the name of Gurudev, the order of Gurudev, and Paramatma or Gurudev in their heart. That on the order of Gurudev you are endeavoring to do this seva. Let me assist Gurudev's order by assisting you to do this seva. And in the process, you will benefit, Gurudev will benefit, we will benefit, and everyone else will benefit. And so, if we were to not accept the donations and say, no, only what Krishna pours out of the sky into my lap, not accepting or understanding that Krishna is inspiring them in their hearts to give something, then this would also be denying the mercy of Krishna to enable us to do our seva. Does that make sense? So there needs to be some kind of balance. There's something called niyama agraha. Niyama agraha, niyama agraha. In the verse, Atyahara prayashascha prajalpo niyamagraha. This is the second verse of Sri Upadeshamrita written by Sri Rupa Goswami. Our Guru Varga have explained niyama agraha to be two things. Niyam means rules and regulations of scripture. There is niyamagraha, is a conjugation of two words. It can mean either niyama agraha or niyama agraha. One means under adherence to the rules and regulations of scriptures, and the other one means over adherence. It means one should be intelligent enough to find a balance. If you got in a car accident and your leg was smashed, it makes sense to have a doctor set it, to fix it, to place it, and to give you the necessary medicines to heal that. And sometimes it might be for those persons who have severe mental difficulties that they need to take something to keep them balanced for some time. And then eventually through Harinam, they may be able to come out of that completely. I've also seen this. I've seen Gurudev in one moment remove 20 years of panic attack disorders. Extreme, just like that. I have now taken it away, now don't let it back in. Just like that. I have now removed it, don't let it back in. What will take people years and years of therapy? In one moment, Gurudev can remove that. That's one of the reasons it's imperative in Shastra to always remain under the guidance of the pure devotee. That person whose heart is overflowing with divine love for Radha and Krishna, to remain in their guidance, then very easily all of these inebrities can be removed. Because by being in their association, instead of applying Harinam and the principles of bhakti to Anya Abhilash, any other desire, like desire for Kanaka, wealth, comedy, material sense gratification, and Pratishta, desire for name, fame, position, prominence, power, because this is what Harinam will do to us if we're only doing Nam Aparad. but being in the association of pure devotees, we will begin to see their greatness and desire to emulate them. Gauramore Atmasat, make me like you, make me yours. I want to be like you, seeing their complete dedication to Krishna. Then this mood of selfishness will gradually disappear from our heart. And as we're glorifying and emulating that pure Vaishnava by being in their association, gradually we will become like them. This is our process. So, in the case of, I just said that. Balabhadra just said it's tough with the case of mental health. So, there's so many different considerations, but association with pure devotees and being under their guidance. I've seen Gurudev also give recommendations. Yes, you should go to the doctor. You should get medicine. When I had jaundice, I told you the other day, my eyes were the color of this bottle cap. So yellow. And my body was like a little bit similar to that. And Gurudev found out that I had a severe case of jaundice. And immediately he sent a message, you should get proper medical help immediately. Take care of it so that you can do your seva nicely. But make sure you get proper rest and take care of your situation. So Gurudev gave the instruction. And then we told him we're going to Shyam Saki Baba. Shyam Saki Baba was a witch doctor. I went to his father when I was young with the same ailment. And then later on I went to the son. And what he would do, he would chant some mantras over some water. And then rub your body down with a mango bark. And the yellow would come out. According to medical science, this is not possible. You don't remove bilirubin buildup by rubbing someone's body with a piece of bark and water. It just doesn't happen. But I would come out of his care completely clean, no yellow. And then throughout the day, the yellow would build up again. But I would see it wash off as he would bathe me with this mango bark. And Gurudev heard that I was going to this, and he said, yes, I've heard he's a very good doctor. I'm very happy. Continue with as you are doing. So, this is in the instruction or under the guidance of a Vaishnava. They can utilize anything in the service of Krishna. They know what's best for us. And so I'm not saying that we should not go to the doctor. We should not get help or even therapy or medicine for mental conditions to help to balance. But to be under the guidance of the Vaishnava, this is essential. It's always essential, and they know what's best. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada instructed that our Param Gurudev could bring, I think his name was Narahari Seva Vigraha Prabhu, to the doctor, and he brought him. The doctor prescribed ghee. Although he could not take anything, he would vomit on the littlest bit of water. Still, he was prescribed to take ghee every day. Like a whole tablespoon, 3 times a day, or teaspoon. And our Param Gurudev said, this is madness. He won't be able to digest this, he can't even digest water. And the doctor said, I know. But my vision is like this, that gradually, even though he's vomiting it, a little coating will be made. And by that coating, gradually he'll be able to digest water, and then he'll be able to digest light foods, and then normal foods again. And sure enough, it worked. And Gurudev used this as an example, that he knows that we will not be able to digest all of the Harikatha he's giving. We'll be like elephants. The moment Harikatha is over, we'll run outside and roll in the dust and put dirt all back on ourselves again. But he felt that gradually a coating would be made by which we would be able to gradually digest the Harikatha that he's given. And then it will make us stronger and stronger and stronger over time. So, with Narasingha Prabhu's question, I have always seen that especially our Gurudev and our Guru Varga, they were very careful to not encourage us, especially in the paths of karma and adi. Adi means and so forth. So it's the process of yoga aimed at developing siddhis. This was diametrically opposed to development of bhakti. And also giving our shraddha or our faith, our bhakti to the devas. I also had an experience once where any deva was trying to take my shraddha. I had to take some medicine for a serious condition that I had, and the Deva was trying to take my Shraddha. And in my vision, internally, Gurudev came and very heavily chastised that Deva, saying, he's not yours to take. His Shraddha is meant for Krishna. Your seva, your duty is only to help his body so that he can do his seva. So if we have this faith that Guru is the sum total of all the demigods, even Gurudev said, real initiation happens when Guru first glances at his disciple. Everything else is just a formality. Now when Sudevi approached him, because someone said if you haven't had a fire yagya for your initiation, then you're not really initiated. So she went to Gurudev all concerned, Gurudev, I didn't have a fire yagya. I mean, and they said it means that I'm not really initiated, so what do I do? And Gurudev was disgusted. He was like, what? He said, if you think you're not my disciple, and this was years after receiving initiation, if you think you're not my disciple, then go find a fire and sit in front of it. Then you will be my disciple, Gurudev said. Then you will be my disciple. But if he's the sum total of all of the demigods, then Agni Deva is also present there. Vayu, Chandra, everyone is present within. So we don't need to take shelter of any other Deva. We take shelter of Krishna under the guidance of Sri Guru, Sarvadevam Mayo Guru, and everything will be taken care of. But taking some help, medicinal help, or for a physical ailment of the body, something which is extreme like that, which requires emergency help, this does not place our Shraddha. We just say, okay, you're helping my body, but I still maintain my Shraddha in Krishna. But when the Devas, we put our faith in the Devas, we see very instantaneous reactions. And so Krishna in Bhagavad Gita, he says, Nyanti Deva Krita Devam, that those of less intelligence put their faith in the demigods, not understanding that all of their potency is coming from me. It's very easy to get caught up in putting one's faith in the Devas because they very quickly give you results. Whereas sometimes in Bhakti we don't find the results so quickly. Why? Because we're seeking after the highest thing, pure, unalloyed devotion to Krishna. Material results can very easily come from worshipping the demigods. And so it's very easy to get caught up or distracted by that, and then to find oneself devoid of faith in Krishna because I place my faith in so many other places. So Krishna calls it less intelligent to do that. Because of that, our Guru Varga have warned us to be careful of this thing, because it's very entrapping. Very entrapping. Where if you take some medicine or like that, you're not going to think, my doctor is God. You just understand I'm taking a little medicine, or they're mending a broken bone. It's not the same thing. But taking faith, putting your faith in the process of yoga, when you start feeling these yogic powers come, these siddhas, these powers.
Also, medicine can be seen as service, because you're using your body for bhajan. You're using your body in the service of Guru and Krishna. So it may be that we need to take medicine to continue that process, because the human form of life is the root of bhajan.
Did you hear that? I think everyone must have heard. At one point, Sudevi became very, very sick, and for a few months we had to stop, on the order of Gurudev, stop and take care of your body so that you can do your seva. So we stopped all of our traveling, we stopped doing our programs, and regularly we were going to different doctors to try to take care, and many devotees were assisting in that effort. And the purpose of that was to continue doing our seva. And when we met Gurudev, one time actually, Gurudev said in class, if any of my disciples is always worried for money, 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 always thinking about money, you should stay very far away from me. So we went to him, and Gurudev, for a few months, a year, we're struggling for money to get our tickets, but we're absorbed in trying to get money, and Gurudev cut us off, and he said, that's different, because you're doing it for me. And then he said, even your eating and your sleeping is for me. So really it matters what the intention is. What is the intention? And we should also see the dangers. What is the danger? if I engage in something, like some people think, it's not a big deal, I'll associate with Mayavadis, but I'm strong. And we see what happens. They end up becoming contaminated by that association. I'll associate with my friends, I'll hang out, and then you end up taking all kinds of intoxication. So we should see our own strengths and our own weaknesses, and we should try to absorb ourselves in those things which are favorable. If there's some minimal thing, like if someone has a mental condition and they need some tablet to help them to keep a balanced state so that they can chant, then that might be necessary. It doesn't give it an excuse for all of the society to go and then take, these SSI, serotonin reduction inhibiting medications. But for some people it may be necessary. So it's not that everything is for everyone. According to where we're at, we might have to do this or that. But there's a great danger in putting one's faith in the devas, because they can take the place of Krishna in our heart. And Gurudev said they want to take your bhakti. They want to take your bhakti and your shraddha. So we should try to develop exclusive shraddha, faith in Krishna. What's the time?
It's time for the kirtan.
7:23.
For Chitra.
I think I've also partially answered Ramnath Shukla's question. How can we be exclusively devoted to Krishna and also approach Gopishwar? No. That's a different one.
Tomorrow.
Yes, we will go into that a little bit tomorrow. How to approach Gopishwar Mahadev. Oh, wait 1 second. Okay, Balabhadra, no Kishori. Better to be mad after Krishna than material life.
It's fine.
In that connection, Srila Prabhupada said, he said there's 26 qualities of a devotee, and there's a 27th, that one has to be a little mad to love Krishna. And also loving Krishna will make one even more mad. Premun Mada. Mada means madness. Madness in prem. And Balabhadra. Okay. I'm just looking. Narasimha's written one more question. I'm just looking. So is it possible to chant mantras to devas prescribed for physical health problems by an astrologer just as a remedy, without placing any more faith in such than in any other medicine or doctor? That I would ask to a pure devotee. And I'm pretty sure they would say, probably not the best idea. Probably not. If you chant Hare Krishna, if you take shelter of Harinam, I just read it in the lecture for Srila Bhaktivedanta Thakur, that when this Bibhikshen was sending him all sorts of tantra and black magic and this and that, and was severely affecting his health, and the health of his children. His wife was begging him, stop doing this, you're going to die. But Bhaktivedanta Thakur took exclusive shelter in Harinam. And Gurudev said in this connection that Bhaktivedanta Thakur is showing us by his own example that if we take exclusive shelter in Harinam Prabhu, that all of these things, these tricks, these magic things, these black magic and tantra, they won't have any real effect. Some little effect might come, but they are temporary because they're made of subtle material energy. And Harinam is transcendental energy. So Bhava Mahadavagni Nirvapanam, Mahaprabhu says, all material miseries, this is Adi Atmik, Adi Bautik, Adi Daivik, can be completely resolved by taking shelter of Shri Harinam Prabhu. Harinam Sankirtana ki Jai.
To chant mantras even to any deva, you have to put faith in those mantras. And that means that we become indebted to the demigods.
Did you hear that? We don't want to become any more indebted. That's one of the things, that's why Krishna promises, if you surrender exclusively unto Him, then He says, I will free you from all of these obligations. And that is really the foundational definition of faith, Shraddha, that simply by worshipping Krishna, Sarva karma krita hoy, all obligations, all indebtedness to all the devas and to everyone else, all of the reactions to my sins, everything is automatically taken care of, and I can take exclusive shelter of Krishna. This is known as Shraddha, and this is symptomized by the process or the 6 symptoms of Sharanagati. If anyone is really following that path, then Krishna hears their prayers. Tahara Prarthana Shune Shri Nanda Kumar. So we will continue tomorrow. Thank you for your questions. We will speak some more on these topics tomorrow.
So remember Chitra Devi Dasi, our God family member, left her body a couple of days ago. And so Devaki and the devotees have requested that we offer this Mahamantra for the benefit of her Atma, that she will very swiftly be taken into the hands of her guardians and gurus.
Yes.
On the path of
And
Bhakti.
our Guru Varga have explained in this case, like if someone commits suicide, that they're in actually a very difficult situation, that you can offer the benefit of your Ekadashi for them. And this is not considered outside of bhakti, because why are you offering the benefit of the Ekadashi? For their spiritual benefit. So this is not considered outside of the process of bhakti. So it's not that we're chanting, doing kirtan for her pleasure. We're doing kirtan and offering that she will attain. It's reconnecting. There we are. Sorry about that. Have to make sure Saraswati Thakur is in there. There you are.
Okay.
Simple.
Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi
गिरिराज महाराज की जय, राधा रमण की जय, हरे कृष्ण महामंत्र की जय, हरे राम संकीर्तन की जय, गौर भक्तवृंद की जय, निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि गोविंद नाम नरमाधवेति गोविंद नाम So thank you all very much for being present with us today and for giving your very thought-provoking questions. Very beautiful to meditate on these subjects of how to dedicate more deeply in service to Guru, Gauranga and Radha and Krishna. We look forward to being with all of you again tomorrow. Dandavat pranam, Hare Krishna, Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe, Dandavat pranam. Hare Krishna. Radhe Radhe.
Radhe.